Live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125 and around the world on myjoyonline.com. This is Joy News Prime. I am Carlos Caloni.
And I am Faustina Safo. Well, tonight the IGP dispatches specialized officers and counter-terrorism units to Gbenyiri as he appeals to feuding factions to lay down their arms after renewed clashes left 9 dead and dozens in critical condition. We'll hear from the chief of Saula, who is urging authorities to return their seized guns, warning that assailants in the ongoing disputes have already enlisted mercenaries from Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire.
Also, health crisis looms in Oti as typhoid fever cases skyrocket to over 10,000 in just 6 months amid lack of healthcare facilities for treatment, with the regional minister revealing the spread has led to some fatalities.
Also tonight, waiting disaster as impending Bagre Dam spillage is set to wreak havoc on the Upper East region, with over 700,000 acres of farmland at risk of being inundated.
And later, MPP flag bearer hopeful Gbenyiri Japan challenges his fellow aspirant to debate of ideas after being the first to file his nomination forms. Remember, Joy News is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism.
It's a good time to take a seat and please be our guest. Thanks for choosing us. Tonight, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyonu, has dispatched specialized officers and counter-terrorism units to Gbenyiri following deadly clashes over a land dispute which left 9 dead and 29 others injured. As tensions remain high in the farming community, residents are resorting to makeshift measures, donning red armbands and marking their homes. We'll take you live to the heart of the conflict shortly, where fear and uncertainty have gripped the community. But first, let's hear from the IGP of Police, who is appealing to residents to ensure that calm remains.
At both sides of the conflict, and tell them they should put down their arms, so that if there's anything, the chiefs will talk about it to make sure that they bring peace to the area. And so we know that coming to him, he's doing all that will bring peace here. We are coming to encourage him and also pray that all the efforts he's making, the various chiefs, the various youths from all sides that are involved in this conflict will listen to him, so that at the end of the day, the very quiet savannah region that we know will be at peace.
Well, we can hear from some of the residents on this issue and why they are wearing red armbands and making marking their structures.
This red band, somewhere according to some influence, that if you don't tie the red band, if somebody comes in, you may not know the difference between we and our opponent. So we just carrying the means that we are not aware of the conflict. We are not aware of the conflict. Yeah, that is why we want to tie the red. They are separate ourselves from them.
Okay, from who?
From our enemies, those who are shooting the bullets.
Well, the chief of Sola, Abdullahi Nugbazo, is urging authorities to return their seized guns, warning that assailants in the ongoing dispute have allegedly enlisted mercenaries from Burkina Faso and Cote d'Ivoire.
If they know that this land belongs to us, we don't have problem. But if they don't know that this particular land belongs to these people and we came and settled, or he want to ask, this peace that we are needing for, can we get it? Because as we are speaking, It's the president, his own land, that they are claiming that the land is for them. And you travel from Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire, and come and see somebody land, and it will be yours. Hey. What we want to plead is, we have our guns that are with your people. So we are pleading that you propose to give our guns back to us. We are not going to use them to fight. Then we also use it to protect ourselves.
Let's take you now to the Savannah region and speak to Natoma Rebecca, who's on the ground for us. Just give us updates on what exactly is happening in the region. Thank you so much for your time here on Joe News Forum. I just want to get a briefing. Based on the information you're receiving, what's the current situation on the ground?
Currently, I'm at Solaris Palace in the Solar district capital. But as we speak now, the whole town is quiet. Some may describe it as a ghost community because most of the shops, stores, food vendors have all shut down due to fear and the tension in the district. As we speak, IGP is still in the district capital. They have gone to visit the crime scene, Gbenyiri, Calabar, Saru, Lema, and some other communities where the district security have recorded some deaths. So the IGP and other security specialists, including the Savannah Regional Minister, have gone to those crime scenes to just visit the area and to also preach peace. And their first stop was the Solaris Palace, where they came to discuss peace and to also inform Solara about their readiness and how they are going to support Solara for the community to be peace, so that business and other things, people will be moving peacefully. So Solara Abdullah Nungbaso have also appealed to the IGP and the Ghana Immigration Service officials who also joined the Savannah Regional Minister to the palace, that they should be watchful at the Black Volta, which is just 1 hour journey from the district capital, that is Sola. They should be watchful on the Black Volta because they have also picked up intelligence that some people claim to be brave force or lobbies are coming in with some rifles to fight the Gonjas. So he has just urged the IGP that they should be watchful on the Black Volta. And the warriors at the Gonja side are also in town trying to protect other Gonjas who are also settlers at the Black Volta area. And those places, there is no network. So it will be very difficult for a brother or a sister who is around that place to actually call the district capital to inform people about what is happening. But when you come to the district police headquarters in Solar District, the lobbies or brave force have taken refuge there. And as we speak, many of them are women and children who are now at the police station. And the district and the regional admin officials are to make preparation for their feeding and other things. But the district chief executive this afternoon, Saka Tinkina, have provided some of them with food to sustain them. But as we speak now, even this night, there is still tension in the district capital and its environment. So the security are still on standby. We can count about 5 military vehicles in the district capital. And the police service too have called in for more men from the Upper West region, from the Northern region, and they are all in the Solar District trying to calm the residents down so that there will be peace, even though it's a land dispute from the Gbenyiri area.
And we've been hearing from a chief in Solar. Just tell us that they're appealing to authorities to return their ammunition. What defense is he giving?
What Solara was actually explaining to the people was that per the Gonja tradition, when someone is murdered in this situation, they have some kind of rituals the warriors have to come and perform. But yesterday, when some of the warriors were coming from Mankuma to Sola, they were stopped by some security men. Their weapons were seized. Some of the clothing they have dressed, that is the Gonja traditional smoke that they have fortified, they were seized by the security personnel.
Okay.
So Solara Abdullahi Mumbaso was telling the IGP to actually speak to the people that nobody was coming to fight or no one was preparing for war, as they have seen some of the youth or the warriors with weapons.
Okay.
And even the clothing they were wearing where the security seized them. No one was ready to come and fight anybody. They were actually coming to perform traditional and cultural rites of the Gonjes in Sola because they were told 3 of the young men were murdered at Calabar, Gbenyiri, and Gbenyiri. And those 3 men were buried in Sola town. So actually the warriors were coming to perform the traditional rite. That was what Abdullahi Numbaso Solara was briefing the IGP. So he has asked the IGP to speak to his people because those traditional clothing, he told them that it's not right for them to seize them. And he's appealing to the IGP to speak to the police to return those clothing to the chiefs and other people in the area.
Okay, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us here on Join News Prime.
Well, let's move on to get some further details on this developing story. And joining us on the line is the Member of Parliament for Sola, Kalba-Tuna, Andrew Dari Chiwete. Grateful for your time. Can you confirm to us this evening we are hearing of some gunfires around the community? Can you confirm that for us?
Exactly so.
Where specifically? Gbenyiri or which community?
For this evening, it happened in the Bole Bamboy constituency. A community called Gbenyiri is actually not under Sola Kona Kalba district, it's under Bole district. What is happening now is that it's no longer sort of Kona district issue. It's been extended to Bole as well. So some communities, some people communities in Bole Bamboy are equally suffering the whole issue.
For those of our viewers who do not know how far Gbenyiri is from Bole Bamboy, can you paint a picture for us so we understand the level of escalation?
Sola to Gbenyiri itself should be about 18 to 20 kilometers. And then Bole to Sola, I mean, it's also about 18 kilometers. And so it didn't have to even get to, it didn't have to get beyond Sola because the issue happened in Gbenyiri, and so we thought it was just going to be around Gbenyiri. Now it has extended to the whole of Sola Kona Kalba because there's tension across the whole constituency, and now in Bole Bamboy constituency.
And we understand a lot of people have been displaced. Can you paint a picture for us in terms of the numbers? And you've been engaged in them. What have they been telling you?
For those who are displaced, many of them, but a number of them are also finding their ways outside the district. And so that is the situation. As for painting the picture, it's a very dirty picture. It's not healthy at all. It's not pleasant at all. It's something that is very worrisome. Because women and children especially, many of them for the past 3 days have been stranded. They've not had food to eat. Others have not. You can imagine women 3 days, no water to bath. Others just sleeping outside with their babies. And so it's a very bad situation.
So before we let you go, what steps are you taking? Were you in the DISEC meeting? What is the way forward on this matter?
No, I wasn't in the DISEC meeting. But after the DISEC meeting, I was briefed. A lot of steps have been taken. And so we are praying and hoping that things will be better. Then regarding the feeding and all those things, I have started with some addition. So I've spoken with the national director and the DC. I'm releasing some funds to support that. Then, fortunately, the gender ministry has also come up with some support. As we speak, I spoke with the national coordinator of the school feeding a couple of minutes ago, and he told me the regional coordinator of school feeding was asked to prepare some food for the people, and so that she was moving with food to the venue to give to the displaced women and the children. But like I said, the general minister assured me this morning that from tomorrow they were going to identify some caterers to provide them with food stuff to cook and then serve the people.
All right.
And that they were going to move water to the centers. The NANO director also has come out with a plan to get some tents to erect for people who may want to sleep in the tents. Then there are also some people that are being hosted by the Church of Pentecost area head and then the pastor. And so we have some of them lodging at their end. So a lot of people have been displaced, seriously.
All right. Thank you so much, Andrew Dari Chiwete.
Away from the Savannah region, let's head now to the Ashanti region, where police are on high alert for possible reprisal attacks in recent clashes between youth groups at Kokode and Wamase at the Kwadaso municipality of the Ashanti region. It comes after intelligence that some of the youth group at Wamase are mobilizing themselves for a reprisal. An attack on the Wamase community on Sunday resulted in the injury of one individual. Nana Yaujima visited the community and filed this report.
The renewed clashes started at Agrek Nzema in the Kwadaso municipality. A long-standing dispute between the youth of Nwamase and Kokode communities reignited at the funeral. Lucy Osei Mensah is an eyewitness.
The guys from Kokode threatened to stab one of the guys. I proceeded to tell the guy who was the target, but they followed me there. Emma was also at the funeral and stepped in. In the process, he was cut in the head and rushed to the hospital.
On Sunday, a day after the first clash, armed men from Kokode besieged the injured person's home at Nwamase, forcing themselves into his room. The eyewitness, who doubles as the victim's girlfriend, says their room was pelted with stones and concrete blocks.
Two hours after we went into the room, they started pelting the roof with stones, calling Ima. I wanted to open, but Ima didn't allow it. When they succeeded in breaking into the room, they wanted to take him with them, but I prevented them. They started cutting him with the machetes. They told me they are going to kill him. He was cut multiple times. I was wounded in the process.
Next time, if I be my show, I'm smoking boy, and I'm saying, to what was the kind they're trying to consay and bed now. You know, some of this kind of charming.
The victim, Ima, is presently battling for his life at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, with medical staff recommending an immediate surgery. I am in front of the single-bedroom apartment where Ima lived with his girlfriend. Today, the place is empty. It's no longer habitable by the residents of this building. Now the wife and kids are no longer here because almost everything within the room is destroyed. The roof itself has been taken off, the ceiling in there completely destroyed, and the place is full of stones and blocks that were used to break in by these young men. Also, the belongings or the properties of Ima are now stained with blood. The walls and almost everything in the room has been destroyed. Other buildings around Ima's one-bedroom apartment were destroyed by the aggrieved youth. Joy News investigations have revealed the victim spent 7 years on remand for allegedly shooting one of the youth of Kokode in the eye in an earlier disturbance.
And to about 10 years in the boy Nakochamu, remand 7 years. O Pierre Cronia, one ya brandis one tears and another job when it's won't go free. And to obey any bias.
The recent attack has left residents of the communities living in fear. Assemblyman for Nwamase, Kofi Ejapon, says the police have received the information and are on alert for such attempts.
The
police promised to keep patrolling the area. They made me speak to the regional commander who has promised to visit the community.
Meanwhile, the Municipal Security Council is scheduled to meet on the matter. For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
From the Ashanti region, let's now take you to the OT region because a dire situation is unfolding there where typhoid fever cases have skyrocketed to 10,233 in the first half of 2025. Regional Minister John Kojo-Japon warns that the lack of a major health facility in the regional capital, Dambai, is exacerbating the situation. With the region's health infrastructure under strain, Mr. Japon is calling for urgent action to stem the tide of the outbreak.
So many people have lost their lives. For politicians, most of them even died in service. The last former chief executives of Dambai all died out of typhoid. We're talking about hospitals in Dambai where this typhoid is so prevalent. Seriously, it doesn't mean we don't have hospitals in the OT region. We have a very good hospital in Raura, but the distance from Dambai to Raura alone is an issue. In the evening around 7:30, I was called that one of our chiefs is seriously ill, and before they got him to Raura, he passed on.
Mr. Japon further revealed that the surge in typhoid cases in the region has claimed the lives of key figures, including a former municipal chief executive of Dambai.
Unfortunately for us, we don't have a hospital in Dambai, and that is the major issue. Yeah, we don't know what is it, whether it is Dambai who is producing the typhoid or whatever. It's a serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue. So I myself have never suffered from typhoid. And when I became the minister and I came to Dambai, I've been treated 3 times of typhoid already, and it's a very dicey thing. It means in OT now, every 20 people you have 2 people who have typhoid. Yes, wow. And this report. There is a latest report which is more scary than this one.
Well,
but for now, even this one, in every 20 people in OT, is supposed to have 2 people who have typhoid.
Well, Joy News Research has been analyzing data from the Ghana Statistical Service, and it reveals something alarming. The OT region alone has nearly 70,000 open defecation spots. And that's what you have on the screen there now. About 69,892 open defecation spots across 9 districts in the OT region. And there are about 30,588. That's about 43.8% open defecation spots in Nkwanta South and North alone. Now, you see that figure also there, 153,564 areas damp wastewater directly on the ground, street or outside. And nearly 70% of the areas can be found in Nkwanta South, Krachi East, Nkwanta North, Biakuye, KJB districts. And we're still on it. 23% of households lack access to improved drinking water, and a 3rd West region in Ghana. And it says 98% of households rely on surface water sources. Now, only 7.7% of the OT population depend on sachet water. And families without water on premises spend average 21 minutes to fetch drinking water, from surface water.
Upper East region, where the clock is ticking for thousands of farmers in the region, as the Bagre Dam spillage is expected to hit within the next 24 hours. Over 700,000 acres of farmland are bracing for the worst, with widespread flooding and destruction predicted. Farmers are crying out for help, citing lack of support from government and also neglect over the period of time and lack of compensation for past losses. There's more in the following report.
Farmers in northern Ghana say they feel abandoned as successive governments have failed to compensate them for losses from previous Bagre Dam spillages. Some are still counting damages from as far back as 5 years ago, when over 75,000 farms were wiped out and thousands displaced. With Burkina Faso set to spill excess water from the Bagre Dam within 24 hours, fears are rising that history will repeat itself. President of the Coalition of Concerned Farmers, Gustav Arnault, says education and mitigation measures have been inadequate.
We are very much concerned because over the years it's been happening, and most of the times you hear on radio, through the communities, a whole lot about educating farmers about the dangers of it. But every time it happens, our crops get destroyed. Also, our livestock, loss of livestock and a whole lot. And also, most of us, about 5 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, most of our farmers who were affected were told they will be compensated, a whole lot. Nothing came. No compensation came.
Meanwhile, the National Disaster Management Organization insists farmers have been adequately sensitized ahead of the spill. Richard Amoyate is director of Inspectorate at NADMO.
We are still talking to them, engaging them in all the forages. And even yesterday, another team from the headquarters has been deployed to go and support. So we are working with them to complete the harvesting and then also need be move up to higher grounds so that the flow will pass without any emergencies.
Host of Joy SMS, Kojo Akoto Boateng, has been sharing details of the crops most at risk following the spillage.
Well, if you look at the Upper West is one of the key producers of some of our grains: maize, rice, sorghum, millet, cowpea, groundnuts, and they are in their major season now. So if the flooding is going to affect the major season production, we should expect that a good chunk of food that gets into the general national system will be removed from the general national system because we may not get it from the Upper East region.
Now let's speak to our correspondent, Albert Sori, who is joining us live. Albert, what more can you report?
This evening, we are learning that the water level has slowed down. Yesterday, when we met the farmers at the basin of the White Volta, a lot of them were rushing to harvest some of their produce, most of which was not even ripe, in anticipation that today a lot more of their farms could be engulfed in flood waters. But today it appeared that the speed of the water sort of slowed down. We do not know why this is the case, but it doesn't also mean that the spillage is over. Sometimes when they do a controlled spillage, it takes days before we see the severe impact. And so a lot of the farmers are still rushing to harvest most of their produce before it gets submerged, possibly in the next few days.
Right. Do we know what government or the authorities in the area are doing to avert any possible food crisis in the area?
Right now, what they are doing is to educate the farmers. A lot of the government work has not been about relief just yet. What they are doing is to get the farmers to take precautionary measures. So they are doing a lot of education, getting people to not take too much risk in terms of going with canoes back into their farms like most of them do. when their farms get submerged, because in the past people have drowned because of that. And so, what the government is doing is to make sure that people stay safe. The regional minister has also said that he's written to NADMO at the national level, and so he's hopeful that by the time the serious impact of any impending floods hit, they will have enough relief and interventions to help the people who will be affected.
Right, Albert, we'll leave it here. We'll still keep our eyes there. Well, you're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni, and
Faustina Safo. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay with us.
welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on Joy News Prime.
To other stories now, MPP flag bearer hopeful Gbenyiri Ejapong has thrown a challenge to his fellow aspirants to face him in a debate. Mr. Ejapong believes that it is time to move beyond personality politics and give party delegates the opportunity to hear clear issue-based proposals. He added that a debate will help to elevate the discourse, restore trust in democratic processes, and give the party a stronger footing ahead of 2028 elections. The following report has more.
Well, former General Secretary of the MPP, Gbenyiri Ejapong, is looking to be third time lucky as he has officially filed his nomination form to contest the flag bearer race of the MPP for the third time. And he says that he represents a new era and that delegates should choose him over his competitors.
And I'm calling all my other competitors, let's have a proper debate. Let's elevate the discourse. You know, that's what is important. The Ghanaian people, they deserve to know our views on major national issues. The party delegates deserve to know. So this is not a popularity contest. You understand? So they need to test our views on major issues. And I think that if they submit themselves to a debate, that will be very good for all of us. And it will change the atmosphere that seems a bit poisoned now.
Well, his campaign manager also says that they are now touching base with all the grassroots of the new patriotic party. That is a new strategy that they are adopting to ensure that he wins the flag bearer race this time.
Well, this time we are touching base with almost every delegate of the country. We are doing a nationwide tour. In addition, we're going to use the press as well to sell our vision. We are going to debate issues and not display wealth, antagonize our colleagues, and give hope to the hopeless and the delegates.
Well, it's heating up, and so far he has become the first person to file his nomination for the flag bearer position of the new patriotic party. Others will also follow suit very soon, with the elections which will be held on the 31st of January 2026 ever looming closer. From the headquarters of the MPP, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Meanwhile, the NPP has announced an expansion of its presidential primary voter register to include a wider range of past and present party officials, dignitaries, and affiliated group leaders. The decision taken in accordance with Article 13(1)(11) of the party's constitution and pursuant to a motion on transitional provisions adopted at the NPP's National Annual Delegate Conference held in Accra on July 19, 2025. Introduces 19 new categories of eligible voters. Let's turn to video wall for more on this now. And you see registration of additional delegate for presidential primary voter registration. All former regional executives, all former constituency executives, all members of the National Council of Elders. for 30 members of the National Council of Patrons, all former party card-bearing members of Parliament, all former party card-bearing parliamentary candidates. And 7 all-past national officers, all external branch executives, all former external branch executives. And it also includes TESCON president from each recognized tertiary institution, national TESCON coordinator, all regional TESCON coordinators, 1 TESCON patron from each recognized institution, all former party card-bearing ministers and deputy ministers, all former party card-bearing MMDCs, 10 members from each regional council of elders, and 10 patrons from each region, 5 members of each constituency council of elders, 5 patrons from each constituency. Now, party officials who fall within the newly listed categories have been directed to register immediately through their respective organizational structures, including the National Secretariat, regional and constituency offices, and external branches. An online registration link will also be made available for external branches to ease the process. Well, according to the directive, the deadline for registration is Friday, September 19, 2025.
Tonight, the Aircraft Accident and Incident Investigation and Prevention Bureau is moving to calm fears over aviation safety after the recent Z9 military helicopter crash and precautionary landings. Acting Commissioner of the Bureau, John Wumburoti, revealed that after the recent issue, the Ghana Armed Forces Z9 military helicopter crash that killed 8 people, including 2 ministers of state, and a series of precautionary landings, many Ghanaians approached him with fears about flying. There's more in the full report.
Styrofoam packs. The recent Z9 crash and precautionary landings sparked fear and panic over domestic air travel. Addressing the media in Accra today, Acting Commissioner of the AIB reassured the public that the country's airspace remains safe, citing an international safety audit that scored Ghana nearly 90%.
I went for a meeting and somebody heard I was the commissioner of AIB. He came to me and said, "Oh, I wanted to travel, but what happened? I'm afraid to sit in an aircraft." We want to continue to encourage the Ghanaian public that when they see an aircraft coming, they should be afraid. It will not fall on them. Everything is done. If we identify, like I said, with our prevention, anytime we cite any warning signs, we put measure to it. And so it is very safe. Our airspace are safe. And as we speak, Ghana has an audit, and we had a score of 89.89% of safety in Ghana.
With the Defense Ministry commissioning the Z9 Investigative Board, the Acting Commissioner emphasized that the board will carry out its mandate professionally without room for speculation.
We are professionals. We don't speculate. What we do is that when there's an occurrence, we go to the field. We use evidence-based. Like I told you how we collect. We first collect the factual information. Based on that, we verify the data we have. And it is only after then that we will know what happened. And so we don't speculate.
Team lead of the AIB on Z9 helicopter crash investigative board, Captain retired Paul Fojo, also assured the public that the board will conduct a professional investigation into the crash.
What will happen in the investigation is all the members of the investigation team, each of them have their own individual skill sets. Everybody will contribute, and as a collective team, will come up with findings, conclusions, and the safety recommendations that must be put in place. And when you issue safety recommendations, you don't just issue it hoping that people know. There's a follow-up process to make sure that it is done, you know. So be rest assured, it will follow the same process.
The investigative board, working alongside foreign counterparts, is expected to conclude its work within 1 month. Reporting for Joy News, I am Collins Frimpong.
Well, we're taking a short break. When we return, we'll have showbiz. Please stay.